everybody. This is Frankie.
This is Cece.
This is Harold.
And you don't like the Dope Squad, but that's what I've been calling us.
I do not like the name.
That's what I've been calling us, the Dope Squad.
So we still trying to figure out a legitimate name for ourselves then?
3 episodes in.
We gotta really figure this out.
I put that on our card too, the Dope Squad. And let somebody come up with an official name change.
Anything but that. I'd honestly rather the Frankie Williams podcast.
The Frankie Williams podcast.
I would honestly prefer that.
But it's not just my podcast, it's all of our podcasts.
It's not just Joe Budden's podcast, but he has his name on it.
Because Joe Budden got a name.
You do all of the behind the scenes stuff. You do all
that. That's true.
You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I'm trying to be an actress, not a podcaster, so I don't mind at all.
I like the production stuff. Okay. Name change, y'all officially heard it first.
You can actually come up with something. It don't have to be that. I'm just saying I would prefer that.
Yeah.
Anything over the Dope Squad. Sound like a drug dealing operation.
That's what
DEA finna kick the door in any minute.
Right. So today's topic is...
Oh yeah. Today we're gonna be discussing use of the N-word by non-African Americans.
For those who are oblivious to what that word is nigga.
That is the word.
We shouldn't even say African Americans. Say black people, period.
No, I was specific. No, African Americans, because black people is like a very general term for anybody that has dark skin.
Exactly.
Dark enough skin.
Exactly.
But that's not historically what the word nigga meant. Or nigger, what it's derived from.
Yeah.
So let's be clear.
That's right.
Because
so for you guys who don't know me, a lot of people confuse me to be African American. They usually think I'm mixed with black and something, but I'm 100% Latina. My mother's Panamanian, my father's Puerto Rican. So I like to call myself an Afro-Latina because my mother is very dark skinned, so they assume she's black. She's from Colón, so she's like a black Hispanic. So just to clarify, because since we're talking about the subject of non-African Americans using the N-word, let everybody know where I come from. So
that's what's interesting to me, because black people with the slave ships, we got sent everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So it's technically black in every culture, even though you consider being Latina or Brazilian or whatever the fuck. You still black. You still seen as black. What is that rule that y'all haven't heard of it?
Brown paper bag rule.
That like you got like one drop rule.
One drop rule. It's a bunch of them.
Yeah. So I'm like, you got one drop, you a nigga.
So what do you feel like? What do you feel about the subject as far as like black people or non-black people, non-African Americans using the N-word?
So we're just gonna jump right into it. We're not gonna discuss anything. We're just gonna dive right into the main topic.
What do you want to discuss before? Like we got time.
Yeah, we got
time. The origins of the controversy.
Go ahead.
Everything.
I'm listening to what you were saying about
mind you, this topic wasn't really my idea. It was actually your idea.
Was it?
I told you about what someone told me about, and you were like, that would be a good idea for the podcast. This was not my idea.
It didn't come out of my head.
It didn't come out of my head either. I was just recounting the story to you.
Because when you like, as you were saying the story, you didn't have to fully say it all the way. I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. So, long story short, recently I was at an event, and it was an album release party. He and I were at an album release party, and the rapper, I believe he is Puerto Rican. Yeah. So he's Puerto Rican, and I brought a guest with me to the party, to the event. The guest that I brought with me is Caucasian, non-black, also known as non-black. And after we left, she mentioned that she felt a little uncomfortable with the fact that there was this Puerto Rican guy repeatedly saying the N-word. And I tried to explain to her that in Chicago, some Puerto Ricans get a pass with saying that it's a little acceptable, but she's not used to that. She's from the suburbs.
Well, Puerto Ricans are considered black anyways because they say that they have black in their
I feel genetics. Like it's your culture, though.
Well, I mean,
that's the thing. That's what I was saying earlier. It's black in everybody's genetics, even the white people. They got a little bit of black
in them. If you want to go back far enough, we are all from Africa, you know.
Then basically.
That's where the species started. So, yeah, we're all somewhat black. But that's not the way we have broken down the races in modern society, right?
Yep.
So, Puerto Ricans aren't exactly black, although some of them are dark-skinned, so they are like black Hispanic.
Yeah.
Afro-Latinas.
You know what? And it's not even so much, like I said, I think it's a cultural thing. Because if a bunch of black people, you grew up with black people and they see you as black or whatever, some people get it passed. We don't like white people saying it for the obvious reasons. They used it for slavery. And you beat us, well, not us, I didn't literally get beat with whips and chains, but...
Ancestors?
Yes, yeah, so I'm just going to jump out there and say it right now. If you are white and you use the N-word, use that word at your own risk.
Exactly.
Because some black people will be cool with it, and some black people will cave your skull in for saying that word.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is, why do black people use the word if they already know?
Because people had this thing, and I've talked to my super Afrocentric cousin, even though she don't really use that word either. But people feel you give a word power, and if you take the power out that word and change the meaning in your group or circle, whatever.
That's true.
Some people like, oh, my nigga, like love and brother type thing.
Yeah.
But if white people say, you nigger, and they say it with the hard E, I'm like, get that, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't really know exactly how it got common for black people to use that word. I'm assuming, like I was watching Django Unchained the other day, and obviously that takes place during slavery times. And Django uses the word to refer to other black people, other slaves. And I'm assuming that's basically how it started. Like, the slaves picked up using the word because the masters were using the word, and the slaves started calling each other that after they all got freed.
That's what they identified themselves as.
So they continued using the word, but they didn't obviously mean it in the derogatory way that the masters did. They just got used to using the word, and we still use it to this day.
Change up the meaning, like I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. You always gonna bring up the Django.
Django. The D is silent.
I always say the Django. But I forgot where I was going with this. What's your thoughts?
Well, I've been using nigga all my life, pretty much.
Why she make it sound like it's a product? So I've been using nigga all my life, and it's
I use it when I wash my hair, when I clean my shoes, when I clean my car. Nigga.
Nah, for real. Like, growing up, I did grow up in Chicago, and then I also grew up in the suburbs. So, I mean, everybody that I associate with, like, I have a lot of black friends, and I have a lot of Hispanic friends as well, but a lot of I have a couple of white friends too, but they hang around with a lot of black people as well, but they don't use the word nigga, but I do, because, like, a lot of people, when they see me, they identify me as black anyways, because my hair, or, like, just the way I talk, or how I carry myself, they just assume, like, oh, she's black. Like, even at work, like, the Mexicans, when I flip on Spanish so that I can communicate with them, they ask me, they're like, oh, you not black? And I'm like, no, I'm not. But, I tell them, like, but they see me as that, and they just go based off of what they're looking at. So, I mean, me, in general terms, like, I just use the word because that's kind of what I grew up around. Like, I grew up around a lot of black people. I grew up having a lot of black friends. My best friend is black. My daughter's half black.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, it's just I just naturally grew up around all of it. So it just like nothing to me to say it.
You brought up a good point. You said the way you carry yourself is, I don't know, that's something that's like ties in with this whole N-word thing. It's like, what's that girl, Whoa Vicky or whatever? Those people carry themselves. I don't care if this bitch, I don't like you, bitch. I'm gonna put that on the podcast.
Who is that?
She's an Instagram celebrity.
That she carry herself in this ghetto manner, and people always say that she black. I'm like, acting ghetto, though, that don't
mean you're black.
Exactly.
Right.
That just blow me. I'm like, but then she popular and whatever because she act this way. But when we act this way, well, when we get angry or whatever, we consider like we
savages.
Yeah, we disrespectful. We seem less than.
Right.
But Whoa Becky is not, or whatever the hell her name is.
You're just gonna butcher her name throughout the...
I don't even know who that is, honestly.
You ain't missing nothing.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
She's famous for acting ignorant. That's
Pretty
sums
much.
up her. That's it.
And that's the thing that I think people mistake when I say like the way I carry myself, because I don't feel like I carry myself as an ignorant person. But I think you know what I mean. Like, but I just want people to understand like when you grow up around a certain culture, you just naturally pick up habits or things that. Like, you know how you could test a black person's patience so much before they snap off on you.
Yeah.
That's basically how
that's anybody. That's not even a black person.
Yeah, that's anybody. But like, I feel like white people will break down and cry when their patience is being tested, and then like if they try to burst out in anger and we burst back, like I feel like we're always dominant when it comes to that, like snapping off on people and shit like that. So I don't know. I just feel like when I say the way I carry myself, it's just basically like all in all like my character. You know what I'm saying? And that's like when people see me or they see me talk or how like I'm just like carefree and I say what I want, do what I want. They say like they just look at me differently, like because of like Becky, she's just gonna sit there quietly, and like the girl that you even took to the event, she was like, I'm just uncomfortable, like
she didn't say it like
right,
but it's just like but she may not have said it like that, but like her inner thoughts, I'm pretty sure she was
she
just
don't
like,
sound like that.
Nah, she
don't gotta sound like that, but her inner thoughts is like a Becky, Becky's like,
You know she's probably gonna listen to this, right?
That's fine. I don't know her. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. Not sorry.
Man.
But it's the truth. Like, if she's saying she felt uncomfortable with it, it makes me wonder, like, why do you feel so uncomfortable with a Puerto Rican saying nigga?
Because from her perspective, basically what she said is this person doesn't have black heritage. Their ancestors weren't enslaved.
But how do you know that, though?
Right, she doesn't know that, though.
She's assuming it, right? And it's probably true. His ancestors, more than likely, were not American slaves in the 18 and 1700s.
Do he got nappy hair, this artist?
No. He looks very much Puerto Rican. He's lighter than you, lighter than any of us.
Mm-hmm.
No. He got, like, what's considered good hair, which I don't like that term.
Quote-unquote good hair.
Right. I'm like, anybody can have good hair. Right. I feel like natural hair is good hair. Like my daughter, I like her hair. She has nice, naturally curly hair.
Yeah.
I don't like.
I like your hair.
Good hair. That's something.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't like that. That's what I'm saying.
Like what would be like considered good hair?
Like the house niggas. I'm like, you never. They're like, oh, she's light skinned and she got that good hair. You can come and be in the house and be raped, but you feel niggas that got that nappy shit. Stay your ass out there. Type of thing. Like, it's so many terms that come together. Like, this topic, it's not really hard for me to talk about it because, I don't know. But for some people, this may make them feel uncomfortable and they may not want to hear it or whatever. Because anytime you bring up slavery or any type of heritage or any type of thing that happened to us, why are you bringing up the past? That shit happened hundreds of years ago.
But it's still
September 11th,
today.
never forget. Type of thing.
But that's the thing people don't understand. Like, regardless of there really not even being slavery anymore, the racism's still very much alive. You know what I'm saying?
Even though that's not slavery anymore, have you ever paid attention to our Constitution and those shit that's still in place and they're using now? That's why we don't have clear rights when people are getting... It's still pissing me off, and it's going to continue to piss me off. Every time a police officer kill a black person or a young... Black people, basically, that's why the whole Black Lives Matter whole thing started. Because you can get off from it based on the slavery laws that's still in place. We still go by that stuff. The preamble, that stuff happened in like the 1800s or whatever year. I ain't
pretty sure before that, but
right. What?
We kind of went off topic. So back
bring up this word, bring up all of that.
That's fine. That's fine. But we talking about the Constitution. So back to the original topic, which is non-blacks using the N-word, non-African Americans specifically. So we have kind of touched on, generally speaking, how do y'all feel about white people using the word?
Don't use that shit. Get fucked up.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
They should not use it.
No.
Would that offend you?
Not even as a joke. Yeah, it's gonna offend me. Like, what you mean?
Would it offend you?
It would, a little bit, yeah. It would offend me. Yeah.
Why?
Because I have a daughter who's black.
Fair enough.
You already know my daughter's black. I'm black.
Well.
I'm black, y'all.
That's the only reason.
No. Because I feel like being where the word generated from the get-go with white people, they meant in the beginning to use it as like a way of slandering black people. So for them to, like, even though, you know, white people nowadays may not have connection to shit, you know, from the past, it's still like, you know, you're not a part of the cool crew to be able to say, oh yeah, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not for you to use, because back then you use it to slander black people. You use it to dehumanize, or however you felt like you wanted to treat black people. So
right.
When you say it now, it's not like a welcoming type of word.
There's a recent video, Man on the Red Light. It happened in Chicago. I think he was on
Jackson. They do say it out of anger. When you see a lot of people use it, they use it out of anger. Sorry, I
no, it's okay.
Off, but it's
it was a white man. He got mad because this is why I don't like when white people say it, because they use it when they get mad.
They get mad, yeah.
And he got mad at this black man. And the black dude was cool. He was calm for a long time, but he kept repeatedly calling him nigga. Called him nigga about 10 times before he got his ass whooped. And then no one like defended the white dude for what he was doing. That's why we don't like when white people saying it, because they're not saying it as like a loving and cool way. It's like some black people use it with each other. They saying it like, you stupid nigger, that's traveling, like Uncle Ruckus type shit. How do you feel about it? Would you get upset?
Well, so my next question, what about white people that grew up in the hood or urban environment where they grew up around all black
funny?
people? And
When you say that, I know white people that may have grew up in the hood, and I ain't never heard them use the fucking word.
Fair enough, but I'm asking, would they be cool to use that word?
No.
Still not acceptable.
I want to know your thoughts on them.
I mean, again, like I said before, if you are white, regardless of your background, use that word at your own risk. That being said, I don't think it's a good decision. I wouldn't encourage it. But I'll say this. I feel like there might be some white people that are more qualified to use that word than some black people.
And they don't.
It's probably best that they don't, but I'm just saying that I'd be more comfortable hearing it from them than certain black people.
And why do you feel that way?
Because certain black people, even if their ancestors were slaves, some black people are so far removed from the struggle.
Uncle Ruckus type niggas.
Uncle Ruckus type people, where you know when they use that word, they're not using it
in a loving way.
In a loving way, exactly. There are certain black people that...
You know what?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. When you saying this, I want to be realistic too, because not all black people use it, nigga, in a loving way. Sometimes we use it in a negative way too. Like,
nigga, please.
Not just that. Like I'll be irritated when I go down like to the south side and I see a whole bunch of niggas at the train. I'm like, oh, these trifling niggas over here.
Even now, I don't think it's meant to be offensive. But, like, some black people will try and make the distinction between niggas and black people. I don't generally try and blur that line. No, I do try and blur that line. I don't like to make that distinction at all. But, some people... Because I feel like a lot of racist white people will say that. And they feel like that gives them a pass to use a word. Like, there's a difference between a good black man like Barack Obama and an old dirty nigger. All right?
That's frustrating because you make a point. They always like to use their argument, just like they use the argument. I know I keep bringing up the Black Lives Matter thing. Sorry about that. But people love to say that, especially about our city. Like, oh, them people in Chicago, they killing each other up. But, you want to complain about the cops killing you. They use that same argument.
Yeah, they try and call the people doing the shooting niggers.
Yeah.
Niggas, something, whatever they want to say. And, the upstanding black folks. Okay, so... We're generally not cool with white people saying it. I guess that seems to be kind of the consensus. What about Hispanics? Frankie?
It didn't bother me that he was saying it. I know that he got some... I don't know. It didn't bother me. I guess it's like...
You know why I feel like...
Look at her getting defensive.
I'm not getting defensive. I'm just making a point. You know why I feel like it's not a problem for Hispanics to say it? Because... And you know what? I'm just gonna separate Mexicans from all other, like, Central American Hispanics, you know what I'm saying? Because Mexicans, they're like South American, or
Central American.
Central Americans are like Panamanian, Belizeans, those parts of the
Mexicans.
Mexicans are south.
No, what are you talking about? Mexico is north of a lot of... Mexico is definitely Central America.
Mexico is not a part of Central America.
Bust out Wikipedia.
Bust out Wiki.
Let's go.
Bust out Wiki. But my overall point was, I feel like when it comes to Hispanics or Latinos using the word nigga, I feel like it's okay because they're not... They're of culture. You know what I'm saying? They're not a part of like the I'm not saying like being European is not of culture or whatever, because clearly they have their own culture, but they're like white. You know what I'm saying? To be European or Greek or, you know, Italian or or what do you call that? What do you call like Romanians and stuff like that?
Romanians,
whatever.
All right, she's right. Mexico is not...
I know what I'm talking about when I say
it don't matter. At the end of the day, it don't matter what the designation is. It's not South America. How can Mexico be South America and then Central America is south of Mexico? That doesn't make any sense.
This is Central America, right?
Yeah, and Mexico is north of that. So how can Mexico be South America?
Whatever the hell you want to call it.
So we were both wrong. Congratulations.
But I was right about them not being a Central American.
But you were wrong about something else, so it cancels out.
Whatever.
I ain't even good with geology.
For real, but that's how we don't know our geography, y'all. So we trying to work it out. But
you got Google Maps. Yeah.
But I just feel like, you know, when you're Hispanic or, you know, Dominican, you know, Puerto Rican, Colombian, you got like obviously there's lighter shades of those, you know, Hispanic cultures, but then there are also very dark ones. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see a black Mexican. You'll get a brown ass Mexican who's like super super brown, but you wouldn't get a black Mexican.
I've never seen a black Mexican out there somewhere. I believe.
Where they at? Because I have never seen a black. I said they out there somewhere.
I'm sure that there's got
it's got to be.
Who've been in Mexico for centuries.
Exactly.
I would love to find one.
You honestly think there are no black Mexicans?
I've never seen a black Mexican.
Running around Chicago,
just like there's a white African. They exist.
Yeah, I know there's white Africans.
So there can't be no black. Come on, black people are one of the. I think maybe Chinese. It might be more Asian people, but black people are a huge skin color group in the world. There's certainly black
spread
people
all the way out the world.
But anyway, my point was like I feel like when you're from like the Central American part or you're like Colombian, whatever, you come of like culture where you know that there's African in those roots. So it's like when I hear them say it, it's like it's nothing to me because it's like you know that they have that. Versus like when you're from Europe or Italy and all those other places, yeah, there may be black people over there, but then they would be black Europeans and stuff like that. They're not like white, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like when you're a Latino and you use that word, it's like, I don't know, it could go both ways. There can be black Europeans, but have you ever heard a black European say nigga?
Yeah, UK rappers use it all the time.
Yeah. I don't listen to UK rappers. I don't know.
Well, they say.
That's what's the dude's name? He made that song "Cigarettes and Kush." He a black European UK rapper, whatever.
I don't know anything about him, but
Barry had put me onto that song.
Barry knows all of the.
Barry be a good person for this conversation.
Well, he's not here, so we will continue onward.
Man.
So what do you didn't like? I feel like you were doing your little speech about the situation and Cecilia hopped in.
I did. I cut her off. My bad.
Thoughts?
Well, see, what was I saying?
You were saying about how you felt about Hispanics using the word.
You said you were cool saying it for some reason, and you were getting ready to get into the details, and then Central America jumped into the conversation.
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like since I've known him for so long, literally over 10 years, I know he's not using it in like a hurtful,
in a derogatory way.
Right. So when I know somebody, well, I don't know.
See, that's different because you got a personal relationship.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
How do you feel basically about random Puerto Ricans or Mexicans? And
I've heard random.
Those are two different groups. You cool with that?
When it depends on the scenario. We live in Chicago. I ain't gonna be like, oh, Don't be using that word.
Well,
nigga
I'm not
shoot, kill
expecting
me.
anybody to start no full blown
But no.
argument with somebody over it.
It I don't know. Like I said, it depends on the way they're using it. If you're using it like in a derogatory manner, of course it's gonna offend me. Like what?
What if you just overhear them talking to each other and they're like using the N-word?
I'm gonna go on with my life, like whatever. It don't.
Gonna meet up with them niggas later tonight.
Yeah. Especially around my area where I live at. I be seeing the dudes say that all the time. They ain't nowhere. Especially like the older Latino dudes.
Yes. So how do you feel about that? Is what I'm asking.
That for me, like I don't know. I feel like Latinos get a pass. It don't really bother me.
Okay, what about when Latinos refer to black people as nigga? And maybe they don't mean it derogatorily, but how do you feel about that? Like
I've never seen another. This is coming from me. I've never seen a Latino tell a dude that wasn't also Latino. I ain't never seen a Latino be like, "What's up, nigga?" to a black dude. I ain't never seen that.
It probably happens.
Yeah, it probably do.
So,
I haven't seen it.
How would you feel?
What? You haven't seen a Hispanic person say "What's up, nigga" to a black person?
Nah.
I do it.
You ain't say it to me.
Well, because you're not a guy. Like I say it to like my guy Patrick.
So right, that was a bad example. I ain't never seen you say that.
Well, yeah, but like I say it though. Like my guy Patrick, because my guy Patrick is black. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, nigga, what up? Like when I say hi to him,
ghetto.
Again,
I'm talking about
nigga.
Like, let's say you
You ain't gonna find a non-ghetto Latino that's not gonna call another black person nigga.
Like, let's say you at the grocery store and you in line and there's a couple of Hispanic dudes behind you and they're referring to somebody else in the grocery store like, look at these niggas over here, they wilding out outside. How would that make you feel? And they talking about some black people. Let's say
black people acting ignorant.
Just doing something.
That would say something equally offensive to them.
So it would bother you.
Yeah. Because
in a situation like that, you don't know if they're trying to be offensive or not.
That's what I'm saying. If it's like something in a derogatory way, I'm gonna instantly get offended. Like, what?
Well, it's not clearly derogatory in that situation. Maybe he's just using that. Like, if that same situation could pop off with two black people in line at the grocery store with you, they'd be like, look at these niggas out here wilding out. That wouldn't bother you. You wouldn't think that they actually, trying to be offensive. But with a Hispanic person, it's like a certain, ambiguity to it.
Yeah, I feel like when I know them, it don't bother me. But when in certain situations, yeah. Like, for instance, when we left out of the album release party and all those people was fighting in the street. And somebody did say, I don't know them. It wasn't a white dude, even though it was a lot of white people out there. It was, I think it was a little Hispanic dude that came up to me and Keith and said, these niggas over here fighting in the street. But we was so much going on. I didn't really pay attention that he said that. That's what I said. If you're in a situation and it's getting like real crazy and hectic, you're not really focusing on somebody saying nigga or whatever. Not at that time. You focus on trying to stay safe. So everything that's happening, it's the whole situation, the whole scenario you gotta take into account.
But what I'm taking away from this is that Hispanic people don't necessarily have a green light to use that word however they want. Whenever they want. It's not always clear what y'all intentions are with that word.
That's you phrased that. I like the way you phrased it. When the way somebody's intentions are, like say me and Sid, we get into argument. I know she say nigga all the time, but if she say
that's because you know her.
No. I'm saying, but me and her arguing, and she called me nigga. I don't care. She say it all the time. I'm like, what, girl, what?
See?
Because I know you using that to get under my
skin. Would you call a black person a nigga if you was arguing with them?
I do that all the time.
I'm surprised you ain't got your head knocked around a few times. You probably have.
No, I haven't. Because all my friends are black. All my friends are black.
I can't argue.
So if I get in an argument with them and I'm like, nigga, what the fuck? Like, they don't care.
Would
they
you do that with a random person
they
in
say
public?
It back. I have done it with random people. I have.
Well, see, the thing is, for a random person, but time out. But the thing is, with a random person, she might actually look black.
That's what I'm saying.
So
you might get away with it.
That's right. She just look light skinned.
They assume for me to. People usually automatically assume I'm black instantly before they assume I'm a Latina. They usually think I'm black and Puerto Rican or black and white or black and whatever, but it's always first I'm black to them because they just see my hair, they see.
So basically, you and it.
They look at me, they're like, oh, you light skinned black person. So they don't. And even after and for some reason, even after I say I'm Latina, I'm Panamanian, I'm Puerto Rican.
You put the little accent on it.
Like, I'm Panamanian, I'm Puerto Rican.
Like, she just a nigga with a little Spanish. What was that? Y'all saw that? It was like some show. It like you just a nigga with a burrito or some shit like that. Y'all
I've heard that. I'm not sure where that's from, but I heard that.
I ain't never heard that before, but that shit's hilarious.
But it was
like either stand-up routine. I've definitely heard that.
I can't remember where it was from because he was like, because he was also talking about like Asian people. He was like that little Asian just a nigga with an egg roll or something like that.
That sounds like something Paul Mooney would say.
Was it Paul Mooney?
It might have been Paul Mooney.
I can't remember.
But yeah, but it's like even after I tell them like what my background is, it's like it goes over their head and in their mind I'm still black.
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
So it's like if I argue with anybody or I'd be like nigga what, they just like argue back like as if I'm just another black person arguing with them. So nobody, like I said, like I've gotten into fights with people not because of using the word nigga, but in the midst of fighting with people and using the word back and forth, it's like they just see me as another black person.
Yeah, so it wouldn't really count with her.
Yeah. Nice try, y'all.
Anyway, if I got into an argument with a random Puerto Rican dude and he started using it, it'd be a problem.
Cause you already like mad anyway. So,
what?
And I'm
so
saying
like, he got into it with a Puerto Rican and he was like, nigga, what the fuck? And he was like, nigga,
it depends on how he says it, but that's my point is like with Hispanics, there's a lot more ambiguity with what their intentions are with the word.
Let me see your phone. I want to Google that up and I put that audio in there. Because I want y'all to hear the way.
How would you close
that? Was that Google?
That was, no.
I want to go to Google.
Just open up Safari and search in Safari.
Wait, what are you searching?
I want to give an example. I want to put that audio on here. I want to give an example of that white dude.
No, I don't want that shit in my search history.
Come on.
We already know white people.
Using my phone. Let me see your phone.
We already know white people shouldn't be using that word. In public, especially. So, it ain't even necessary to play the audio, in my opinion.
Because, no. The black dude was so calm about it before he beat his ass.
I don't even need to hear the audio of this to know that this is some foul shit going on. I don't need to hear this.
Alright.
This is just going to add a bunch of fluff.
Oh. But it's not fluff.
If you can find like a situation with a Hispanic dude and a white dude or a black dude going at it and he's using the N-word, then we can listen to that.
Google it.
That's not looking for that. You want to bring this up?
I got my phone with you. Did you let the
we already know that situation is not going to look right. That's what I'm saying. It's like listening to a slave master say the N-word. Like we already know that shit ain't gonna come off sounding right.
But I'm not talking about that situation. You just said a black person.
You talking about a white? I said a black. We talking about black and Hispanic people going.
Right.
I don't think if you a white person and you arguing with a black person and you use that word, you fucked up. That's it. It's a wrap.
That's international.
And I don't care what the intention was behind it. It's over.
But what I was saying,
he said behind her.
was you just gave an example. I said Google that.
I don't care, but look, I think from just talking about it, we got a good enough idea that there's a little wiggle room where it's not clear.
See, this is the thing though. If a black person and a Hispanic person was to get into it, I don't feel like the Hispanic person, by saying the word nigga, is gonna like be in any way like, you know what I'm saying? Because
first of all, let's be clear. There are definitely racist Hispanic people that look down on black people. There are plenty of them out there.
Absolutely, but as far as the Puerto Ricans go, highly doubt it. I've never met.
It's definitely.
There's some black people that's racist of other black people. So I know it's definitely.
Yeah. It's definitely Puerto Rican chicks and dudes that think that they are better than black folks. Let's not even get that twisted.
I haven't met one.
There's some Nigerians. You know what? Even though Nigerians are black, I get offended when them niggas say nigga. Because you know that they see us as scum of the earth.
Well,
see, how do y'all feel about your own people?
Well, I'm not Nigerian, so...
Well, that's what... But they're black.
Nigerians don't.
American.
Nigerians don't see us as being part of them.
They view us as being the descendants of the people they sent over here.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
they're fucking crazy.
Seriously, have you ever I don't have conversations with a lot of them, but the ones that I've been around, I'm like, bitch, we black too. No, we're not the same type of black.
That's not true for all of them, but
yeah, that's what I said.
There's definitely a tension there with some folks.
If y'all saw Black Panther, y'all saw a little snippet.
So I think it goes all around. See that? I feel like it goes all around then. Because y'all would get offended if a Nigerian was to say it, but they're black, but you say they're not black, and
they say they're not black.
So they say they're not black, and
That's what I'm saying. There's degrees to how ambiguous it is for different people to say stuff. For the average African American, I'm generally going to assume that they're not trying to be offensive, but there are some that are trying to be offensive when they use that word. For the average Hispanic, that gap widens and there's more ambiguity, so it's like it's even less clear when they use that word. Well,
unless they make it clear and they be like, you a stupid nigga. That's offensive off the bat.
Well, obviously. Well, not necessarily. Some people just, these some dumbass niggas over here. All right, so what about, we done talked about Hispanics, we done talked about blacks, Africans, whites. What about like Asian people or like
definitely I don't like when Asian people do it either.
People.
You know when you go
Indian
people, I feel like
they don't even.
No.
They use
definitely more recently now it's happening because hip hop culture is becoming so dominant at this point. Everybody's going around using the word and they're using it to refer to their friends. It's definitely happening.
I've never been offended by an Indian person saying it because the way they use it, like you said, it's like rap music. They
what's up, my nigga?
Yeah.
But
Asian people,
what right do they? What's the difference as far as like from the perspective of using that word? What's the difference between an Indian person or an Asian person using it?
Well, Asian people, the ones. Now I'm not gonna say obviously not every Asian person, but say you're going like to Chinatown or something, they just assume, a lot of them assume like black people are thieves, or so if you feel that way around me, or you follow me around the store and you call me a nigga, I'm gonna be highly offended and I'm gonna be ready to whip your ass, give you a reason to call the police since you follow me around the fucking store.
Okay, that's a very specific type of Asian person.
That's those type of people I'm talking about. They use that.
Yeah, but there's more Asian people than that.
True.
And yeah, let's talk about in general. When you hear an Asian person using that word.
I don't hear an Asian person outside of that.
Let's say you in Lincoln Park and it's some college age Asian guy. He's not like the type of dude that's hanging out in Chinatown working at the restaurant. He's just a student and he's...
But okay, is this Asian dude hanging out with a bunch of black people where he felt comfortable?
No, he's hanging out with a bunch of Asian people. Or white, whatever. He's hanging out with other college students.
I don't know what language he speaks, so I never heard them say it.
What language he speaks?
Because
English.
No, I'm saying they can say nigga in their language or whatever. You don't know what they're saying because a lot of Asian people do that.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No, but
he is American Asian for all intents and purposes. He don't.
I feel like people, especially.
All right, you want me? All right. What about my Indian friend that you know?
Oh, I love him. I
don't think he would ever even say it, but
if he said it, I wouldn't get offended because
as you know him. But
yeah,
I'm saying
exactly.
Somebody, and I'm not saying him. I'm saying somebody like him.
If it's somebody like him, if I don't get offended when he says somebody like him, I won't.
No. I'm saying when I say it's somebody. Okay, this is getting way too. Like,
I think the overall right. I feel like the overall core of the issue is
edit this shit.
Yeah.
I feel like the overall core of the issue would be like whether they're using it on a racist term or not.
Yeah,
and whether you know them or not. And whether you're gonna get offended by it or not, or how they're gonna use it. So there's so many angles that could be brought up when it comes to it. So it just really depends on the situation, the person, and what's going on.
That's not how all black people feel. There are a decent number of black people who basically feel like nobody who is not African American should be using that word.
Well, they need to grow the fuck up and just whatever, because it's 2018 and it's 2018 and
you don't think that,
when people say that, I don't know why they say being 2018 don't mean nothing.
That doesn't mean anything.
It don't mean nothing.
Because if you're sitting here and you're saying you don't mind if an Indian person,
that's my own perspective.
I didn't say that.
I have never. Like literally all the people that I know, like of course they would have their opinions about who should and shouldn't be able to say it or whatever, but I've never met a black person that says I don't think anybody at all should.
Really? You must not know like that. You
didn't meet my cousin yet.
Yeah, there's a ton of black people, especially nowadays with this whole Afrocentric movement in full swing.
Because it offends a lot of people. It's some black people that's like pro-black, and I understand why it offends them for somebody outside of being black to use it. They don't even really like to use it.
Exactly. It's a lot of black people who do not use that word.
Because obviously where it's derived from. Plus, like,
but that was my point earlier.
Just like being a black person, period, especially being a black woman, having that word being used and being disrespected as much as we are in this country. Like, people don't like to use that word. So there are black people that will go.
See, but that was the point, though. Like, if there are black people that even feel like not even black people should be saying the word. Mm-hmm. That was what I was saying earlier in the beginning of the podcast. Like, there's some black people that don't even feel like black people should be using the word. So then if that's the case, then they wouldn't even feel comfortable with their own culture saying it.
Yeah. I'm saying everybody has their own perspective on the situation, right? Mm-hmm. We're just trying to figure out, everybody on this podcast, we're trying to get all our perspectives laid out. So you got yours. You basically feel like anybody can say it. You are also Hispanic, so that is very telling. But I don't see, why is it in your mind, why is it okay for everyone else to say it but white people? That doesn't make sense.
Because I don't feel like, well, see, this is the thing. Well, first of all, like, I've never met a white person who, even growing up like in the ghetto or wherever, says the word nigga. So I feel like white people shouldn't say it because, like I said earlier, I feel like they mean to use it in a derogatory way. That's why they don't say it.
Not always.
I haven't.
There are definitely like white people who grew up in the hood. All of their friends are black. You know, that's their life. They're hood ass white people. And to them, if they ever use that word, they probably are not trying to be offensive. They just hear all their friends saying it. You know, they're not trying to be offensive. There are definitely white people who use that word and they're not trying to be offensive.
Well, that's fine then. That's them. But
would you be cool with that?
Proceed with caution, like you
as long as they're not.
That's my stance on it. But would you be cool hearing that from them?
It's whatever. If that particular person is okay with that white person calling them nigga, that's fine. But don't call me one.
You know what? I got a scenario for y'all. Say that you out at this different place, whatever, and it's not a lot of black people, and then you hear somebody that's not white saying nigga, and you like, it's only 1 or 2 black people there. How would you feel in that situation? Do you feel like you can defend yourself, or would you think you're just looking crazy because everybody else not offended by it?
I would be highly fucking confused. I would be highly confused. I would try to figure out what the source. I would be like, look, why? Yeah. Why is there but 2 black people here and y'all nigga? Like, I would be trying to figure that shit out. Like, how does this work?
You find yourself in one of them get out situations.
Like, let me figure this before I go pop off, because maybe there's a situation that I don't understand. And I think that's goes back to what he says about, like, how would you feel if a white person, like, as long as he don't say it to me, I'm cool. But if he say it to his friend and his friend's okay with it, then it's like, whatever, that's your friend.
You have a contradictory stance on this topic.
How?
You said just like 5 minutes ago, it's 2018, everybody need to get over it.
Yeah, but the white people, but we all know white people started the whole racism thing in the first place.
Wait, I don't think they
black people didn't go enslaving other black people, or Hispanics didn't go enslaving black people.
For the record, I don't think white people invented racism.
White people, they
invented racism. They invented racism when they invented slavery.
I'm pretty sure racism existed before slavery did.
You know that it wasn't white people that started slavery. It was black people.
I didn't know that.
And I found that in my black history class.
Yeah.
Taught by my black teacher. But they didn't. It wasn't like a slavery thing. It was supposed to be, you did a crime or you did something, you had to pay that time back with your labor for this person.
But when that's not slavery, that's kind of like jail time then.
Only thing that made it slavery when white people did it is that they didn't want this shit to end. Like with black people, you be doing it for a certain amount of time. You was doing it.
It's like going to jail though. That's not slavery. That's not slavery though.
It is slavery if you're doing all the same stuff. Just because you got less time slavery, it's still slavery. Like
if you're paying off a crime that you did,
not a crime, but like say you borrowed money or whatever. It was like something you served your time.
It's like indentured servitude.
Yeah, that's what it started off as. But then the Europeans saw it and they was like, oh, this could be free labor. They what made it slavery was when they made that shit happen from when your kids have kids and like going for decades, centuries.
For the record, slavery existed before the transatlantic slave trade. I don't know why we are talking about this. Like, this is a recent phenomenon. Like, slavery ain't been happening for all of human history, right? I just want to be clear here. It's not some new shit that white people invented 200 years ago.
I didn't say they did.
But they blew that shit up. They blew that shit up though.
There was already racism in the world way before the 1600s.
Yeah.
Well, there was
in BC
there was racism. Yeah, I agree with that. There was racism all throughout life. I agree with that. But as far as slavery goes, I feel like white people blew that shit up with the whole slavery thing.
Yeah, well, they made it. That's what made it like worse. Instead of having it a certain time served, they was like, if you have a child, your child automatically a slave. They child automatically a slave. I'm like, damn, this for centuries, it ain't gonna end. That's what made it. But yeah, how did we get on slavery?
We got squeaky chairs, y'all. Squeaky chairs.
It's all good.
So yeah, we were talking about her contradictions and how she feels like it's okay for. And by she,
I feel like if you have a cultural background, it's fine. It's fine if you have culture, like if you non-European, non-white, then it's whatever.
You know what's funny? This is very much a stance I would expect somebody in your situation to take. Somebody who is not black would definitely, who is also not white, would definitely take that stance because it's very convenient for them to take. It doesn't really address any of the issues. It just basically says, well, I can say it, but white people can't say it. It's like passing the blame on somebody else.
It's not passing blame because I actually can say it. So...
Well, you know, physically can say it. Yeah, nobody can stop that.
You particularly look black. You pass as black. Like, people,
right.
The people that pass as black, you don't question what they saying. You just be like, girl, whatever. But... I don't know. I think I take back what I said earlier. I don't know. If we me you arguing and you call me nigga, I'm like, girl, I
see. This is the thing. When I argue with females, I say bitch. Bitch is my word.
I get offended by that too.
I be like, bitch, bitch. That's how I am.
Whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic. But see, if I argue with a female, it is bitch. Or like me and my best friend. Yeah, when me and my best friend argue, we say bitch. But if I'm arguing with a male, I say, or if I argue with my best friend Patrick or whatever, we don't argue because we don't really ever have anything to argue about. But
Harold, when I argue with you, do I call you a nigga?
Not really. We don't really argue either. We have like debates.
Yeah, we had debates. Well, yeah.
Not like us shouting.
I don't know. Because I don't think, me and Shamir had arguments. I don't even think I call her bitch.
I say bitch, but that's because that's how I speak. I'm very, like, y'all, I'm a potty mouth like a motherfucker. I cuss like a storm. So, like, when I argue, I already cuss on a regular basis. So when I argue, like, it goes tenfold. It goes like, bitch, blah, 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 you know? So it's like, it's just naturally how I get aggressive.
Yeah, she was a sailor in another life, you guys.
A what? What is that?
A sailor.
A sailor? Oh, that should probably be wrong. Too much of a... I think I am a pirate in my past life. For real.
Oh, man.
Long John Silver over here.
I love this. It's still going. 48 minutes in.
It's not going to stop. That's what it does.
No, I'm saying, like,
so you've asked us about our opinions 90%.
Yeah, you know, I don't have like a solid stance on this. I mean, I kind of handle it on a case by case basis, but I say in general, if you are not black and you use that word, you're using it at your own risk. I mean, depending on what your background is, that risk might be higher for violence.
What is that dude name that he was in that movie? What's that movie with Kevin Hart and what women?
If Kevin Hart was in it, it was trash.
But no, I'm saying, like, they got.
No, Kevin Hart is funny as hell.
Kevin Hart is the most broken record in the public.
He is hilarious. Do not talk about Kevin Hart like that.
How is he hilarious?
He's funny.
He's
funny. He is not funny.
He's like the male version of Tiffany Haddish, okay?
Exactly.
He's like the male version of Tiffany Haddish.
I wouldn't think about it like that. I would say that she's the female version of him since she kind of came up after.
Yeah, she came after him, but
still. These two Negroes. I'm not even going to call them niggas, but the term would apply. All right?
I like both of them, and if I ever got to work with either one of them, that shit would be hilarious.
Yeah. These two Negroes are perfect examples of Hollywood sifting through all the niggas in the entertainment industry and plopping up two of them to drop them down and force them on America as a whole. Because you can't go nowhere and not see Kevin Hart's funky ass. And you can't turn on no channel and not see Tiffany Haddish acting like a straight up bozo. That's all she do. And they're not even acting. They're just being themselves.
Exactly. That's the best part about them.
He's not an actor.
That's the best part about them.
An actor is supposed to act. He's supposed to portray a role.
Well, see, Kevin Hart is not an actor. He is a comedian. And with that,
that's debatable.
He's a comedian in his own right, in his own way, just like every other comedian is. And just like Chris Rock, just like Chris Tucker, they were all comedians, and then they got put into movies.
Chris Rock used to actually play like he was a crackhead.
Yeah, Chris Rock can act. He played Pookie. And
I thought you was about to say Pootie Tang. I'm like,
Jack
we
City.
Don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
With that, I think.
But I didn't bring up Kevin Hart to have a debate. I brought him up because he was in that movie. It was like Kevin Hart, Taraji P. What was this movie that like they was?
I do not.
Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man.
Yeah. Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. Think Like a Man. That's what it was. There was a white guy in that movie. He grew up around all black people.
Was it Gary?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
He does not use that.
He does not use, and he's married to a black woman. He does not use that.
But he's smart, right? He's smart to not use it. But
he would have a pass. What I'm saying, he would have a pass.
People would say he has a pass. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the point I was thinking.
People like him are who I was talking about when I say some people got more of a right to say it. Some white people got more of a right to say it than some black people.
But he don't.
He never used the word. Just like Eminem never uses the word.
Yeah. And Eminem I would consider him having a pass.
Yeah, most black people would say.
A nigga. He just a life.
He never used the word. And he said he never felt comfortable using it.
Yeah. Some people, that's too. It's all the thing about comfort. Because believe it or not, it be some white people that when they not around they're around their other white friends and they say it freely, you know?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that always slip when they get around people because they so used to saying it when they around their friends.
That's what it reminds me of, like that movie White Chicks when they had that car ride moment and they changed it to rap music. And they was in the back seat like, yeah, my nigga. And they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. And it was just like, they felt, he was like, Vanillins around. There was like a moment like that where they felt like they could say it because they were amongst white friends and they were like, they didn't even know there was really black in the back seat. So
I think it was either Kendrick or maybe J. Cole, but I think it was Kendrick who he was doing a concert not too long ago, and I guess one of the audience members was white and was singing the lyrics out loud, and he like stopped the show to address her using that word. I don't even know how he would hear one person in the audience saying the word.
He probably just saw her mouthing it.
Whatever it was, he like apparently stopped the whole show just to address the situation.
We agree that you don't really have a biased opinion on that because...
Well, in general, I don't feel comfortable with white people saying it. With Hispanics, like I said, it's
and let me...
on the case-by-case basis.
Yeah, the reason why I don't feel comfortable with white people saying it, to clarify, even though I say it's 2018, whatever, because that goes with, non-whites. But the reason why I don't feel comfortable with white people saying it is because 99.9% of the time they do use it to mean harm.
I don't think that's true. I think 99% of the time they're probably saying it in a damn song that they know. They just reciting the lyrics, or they just want to be cool.
Besides that, not music wise, but like just generally.
I don't think that most of them use it to be offensive. I think.
Do you get
sure there's a lot of them.
Cecilia say it?
No, because she ghetto as hell. She like
proudly gets hair.
But
and I will be, see this thing. If I ever blow up and this nigga talking about me,
I am offended.
Talking about
she is pointing her thumb at me and using the N-word.
Well, no, because it's like you think Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish are trash, right?
I don't. To be fair, I don't think they're trash. I think they're one-trick ponies that have exhausted all their fuel and now they're running on afterburners. And I'm just annoyed with the shit that they do.
I like Kevin Hart.
I like them.
I know people don't.
I love them.
Because who else had a problem with him? Mike Epps. I know people.
Mike Epps, and I side with Mike Epps 100% in that beef. He said exactly what I said. Basically, Kevin Hart has gotten in with the right white folks, and they are pushing him on mainstream America like there's no end to the shit ever. Like, this motherfucker been riding the wave.
But he's funny though. He is not
as funny as he is popular. His comedy funny. Should not have propelled him to the level that he's at. There are comedians way funnier than him. Mike Epps is one.
I like Mike Epps. I like Kevin Hart.
But I agree.
I like Tiffany Haddish.
But here's my thing.
I think there's different levels of comedians. I think
yeah, but why is it there can only ever be like one comedian at the top? Before it was.
It's always like that. It's always one person at the top.
No.
Who higher at the top than Beyonce? Realistically,
I would say Rihanna's up there.
No, Rihanna's up. Rihanna and Beyonce gave their album out in the same week. Beyonce crushed Rihanna's album.
It's not just about sales. You got to look at like cultural impact. They are both huge stars in their own right.
Yeah, but she's still not bigger than Beyonce.
She don't have to be bigger than Beyonce.
In my eyes, Beyonce is tired.
In your eyes,
out.
In reality,
have several seasons.
I feel the same way about her and Kevin Hart. And I feel like Beyonce is way more talented than Kevin Hart. But my point is, Kevin Hart is leagues above any other black comedian. There's none that are even near him. He's been propelled. Like Beyonce and Rihanna, yeah, Beyonce's a bigger star, but Rihanna ain't too much far down from that. Right?
But she is down, that's the point.
That don't fucking matter. That's not my point.
Rihanna's my bitch. I love Rihanna.
Oh my God. My point is that Kevin Hart has been taken from the nigga stash and dragged to superstar status in Hollywood and the comedy industry. They're not gonna let nobody else.
But he international though.
Let me finish what I'm saying. That's my point. He has been dragged to this status, and Hollywood never lets more than one black comedian be on top like that. There's always just one he's like the face of black comedy. Right now it's Kevin Hart. A few years ago it was Dave Chappelle. Before him it was Chris Rock, Richard Pryor. It's always like one motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
white people, it's a whole slew of major, big time talent.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but the thing is, that's something that people have been fighting, right? Especially recently with the whole Oscar so white. That's why they had that protest.
Yeah, it's a different situation.
No. You talking about Hollywood? That's Hollywood. That's what they're talking about.
It's not just Hollywood. I should say the entertainment industry in general, because Kevin Hart crosses between Hollywood and the stand-up world. But that's what basically Mike Epps is saying. He's like, yo, they have chosen this dude to be like the savior for niggas in comedy. He has died on the cross and was resurrected. You know, it's.
I think Kevin Hart is hilarious, yeah, in his own right, just like everyone else.
He's very basic. You know, he's a very basic comedian. He ain't telling no deep jokes. He ain't giving no social commentary.
Did you ever watch one of his stand-up comedies?
Yeah, I used to think, like, the first few times I saw his stand-up, I was like, okay, this guy's kind of funny. And then I saw it the third, the fourth, and the fifth time, and I'm like, this is the same shit over and over again.
Now, the same shit was when we went to that one comedy show, and that nigga did the exact same shit. Well, Kevin Hart changed up his stuff.
The style of comedy and the jokes is pretty much the same shit. It's him shouting, complaining about being short, just being a fucking bozo. That's another thing. Kevin Hart is just a buffoon. He does not, like, when you laugh at a Kevin Hart joke, you're not laughing at the joke. You're laughing at the way he presents the joke. You're laughing at him. You're not laughing at, like, the topics he's addressing. Like, Dave Chappelle, even on the Chappelle show, he was mocking some, like, serious problems in society. And you could laugh at that shit. I was never laughing at Dave, even though I think that's why he eventually left the show, is he felt like people were laughing at him, specific people. But Kevin Hart is just the joke himself. He is the joke. He's not up there telling jokes. He is the fucking joke.
You feel like
totally off topic. I know we went way off topic. But
we want to talk about multiple things, so there's some multiple.
Yeah, well.
So that's the conclusion for our show today. We'll catch y'all next week, and all three together in unison. We can be like, bye. Y'all want to do it? 1, 2, 3. Where you at? Bye.